Hey guys, just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about how Christopher and I found out we were pregnant. So, last summer, in August, well, not in August, but around June, we decided to plan a trip. Just a little getaway so that we can get out of New York, relax, have some fun, and really just enjoy each other. And the push to really get this trip settled and have the just make reservations and get our flight, hotel, and everything together was that the trip that I was going on to Africa was canceled. And that was actually going to take place in August, a week before we actually went to the Dominican Republic. So we planned our trip. We went to the Dominican Republic in August of 2010. We had a great time. We rode the buggies. We got there. We had a tour of the property. We stayed in the adults only section, or the adults only club. So the hotel we stayed at was the Majestic Elegance, something like that, in Punta Cana. And we had the best time. The only thing we didn't like was that the buffet areas, they didn't serve the greatest food, and they left the food out for a little bit, a long time. So we winded up on our second day only making reservations at the restaurants. Even we made reservations for dinner. We went to the restaurants for breakfast and lunch. If we were stopping at the buffet for anything, it was just to pick up a quick snack, maybe some fruit or a burger, but not a meal, not a meal that we would get from the restaurants. So anyway, we were there, and we heard a lot about DR, and I did a lot of research and found that a lot of people got sick off of the food. And me, the way I eat anything and everything, and my stomach pretty much just adjusts. I've never had a stomach virus or food poisoning or anything. So while I was there, Christopher started getting sick, and he had vomiting, diarrhea, and we all thought that, well, I thought it was from the drinking, because they have this drink called Mamajuana, and he would down 2 or 3 of those in one sitting, and I'm thinking that's not cool. Or one night, it was a jazz night, and actually it was a jazz night / chocolate martini night. The chocolate martini was amazing. I had one, and Christopher wound up having 3 or 4 in less than an hour. So that really messed with his stomach. So it wasn't a good look for him, and I made fun of him. I tortured him, and I said, see, that's why you shouldn't drink like that. Even if we're on vacation, you should drink in moderation. And giving him my little spiel and just joking around. And for 2 days, it just kept going. But little to my knowledge, when he started getting better, I started getting a little, I had diarrhea, and I was very tired. And I took naps during the day, and every time I couldn't eat anything without having to go to the bathroom. We went to the restaurant, I had to go to the bathroom. We made 2 reservations in one night because we wanted to try both of the restaurants. So we went to one restaurant, the Italian restaurant, and I had to go to the bathroom. We went to the Japanese restaurant, I had to go to the bathroom. It was terrible, really. The only relief that I got was when we were actually going home. On the plane ride home, I thought, oh, what a relief, I don't have to go to the bathroom. And I thought I just had diarrhea from the food. So we got home. We spent 6 nights and I don't know. We spent 5 days and 6 nights at the hotel or on vacation. We got home and everything was fine. I was still a little queasy. I was still feeling a little sick. And while Chris had completely gotten rid of all of his symptoms and all of his discomfort, 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, I'm still feeling the same discomfort. The diarrhea had stopped, but then I started feeling a little lightheaded, a little queasy. I never vomited, or I was never too sick to get out of bed. But I just was not feeling right, and I thought that it was the food still in my system. So I thought I had maybe a virus. So I made an appointment with my doctor, and I went in to see her. And she said, well, most of the time it's nothing, or it'll pass without her giving me any antibiotics or any medication. So then she said, well, do you think you might be pregnant? And I said, no, that's not possible. Even though it was possible, but in my mind, I was just like, no. Because we weren't trying to get pregnant at all. We had set our minds on getting married when we were 30, and then immediately trying after to get pregnant, because we knew we were getting older. And I'm 28 now, 27 at the time. And I knew that, well, we knew that once we hit 30, the chances of having kids decreases significantly for women. So right after we got married, we wanted to start trying right away, and we came to that agreement, and we were set on it. We had a conversation a few months prior to going to DR, and we had discussed having children and getting married. And I said, you know, what if we get pregnant before we get married? What if we get pregnant before we're 30? And Christopher just kind of looked at me. He said, well, what do you mean, what if we get pregnant? If we get pregnant, we're having the baby, and that's it. There is really no other choice that we were considering. We weren't considering giving the baby up for adoption. We weren't considering an abortion. So we already knew that if chances arose that we did get pregnant before we got married, then we would definitely have the baby. So my doctor said, well, let me give you a pregnancy test. And, you know, even my mom the week before had asked me, are you sure, you know, could it be that you're pregnant? Or Christopher asked me, like, are you sure you're not pregnant? So I said, oh no, I couldn't be pregnant. And the weirdest thing is that I had dreams. A lot of people talk about dreaming, especially in the South, they talk about dreaming of fishes. And people, when someone close to you dreams of a fish, that means someone around them is pregnant. And no one around me had dreams of fishes swimming in little streams. No one. But I had dreams of me 3 or 4 times a week, maybe more, of always being at the beach, always swimming. At some points, me being able to swim underwater for such a long time and seeing tentacles all around me, and octopuses and jellyfish, just anything with legs and not legs but tentacles and things that are real jelly in my dreams. And I thought, that's kind of strange, and why do I keep having these dreams of me swimming underwater and I'm seeing all of this, you know, it's not too clear, but I know there are sea animals all around me, octopus, squid, jellyfish, anything with tentacles, really. So my doctor gives me the pregnancy test, and she says, you know, I'll call you with the results the next day. And she said, if you have a virus, I'll let you know, but then if you know, we have this pregnancy test that we're doing today, so if you're pregnant, I'll also tell you that. So the next day, in the morning, I get a call, and I get so nervous because I don't know what she's gonna tell me. And I get nervous not at at the chances of me being pregnant, but I got nervous of the chances of me having, you know, some sort of illness that I'd never heard of, or some sort of disease or infection that may cost me something. So when she called me and I picked up the phone, and she said, well, you're perfectly healthy, your sugar levels are fine, your blood pressure is fine, everything is fine. She says, but you know what, you are 6 to 7 weeks pregnant. And this was September 13th. And it was, I believe, a Thursday that we got that news. And she said, are you okay? Because I didn't say anything. Actually, no, I did say something. And she said, are you okay? I said, I'm fine. And, you know, I just looked down at my stomach and was just in a little bit of shock. Like, wow, how did that, I mean, of course you know how it happened, but wow, you know, you're actually pregnant. You look at everyone on the street, and you look at whoever's pregnant around you, and like, wow, I don't want to be pregnant right now, or I don't want to take care of a baby right now. But then once you find out that you're pregnant, all of that really kind of goes out the window, and your mindset changes. You don't think of, oh, well, what shopping am I going to do this week with this week's paycheck? It goes towards, well, you know, how are we going to pay for daycare? How are we going to pay for college? And to be honest, that was what was going through my mind as soon as I found out. So I called Christopher and I told him, and he said, well, we're pregnant. And he was excited about it. I was still in shock. My parents were a little, you know, they were happy, but they were a little disappointed, because I had done everything. I've traveled many places, not too much within the US, but I did a lot of traveling abroad. And I have my bachelor's degree, I have a master's degree, I have a pretty good job. You know, there's always room for improvement. I could use a better job. And yeah, I'd done everything except for get married. And so Christopher and I were not married at the time. We are married now. We got married in February, and they were just a little taken aback by me doing everything up until that point, and just missing that one thing to, I guess, fulfill the major things you do in your life. And one of those major things, besides, you know, going to school or having a baby, is getting married. That major step in your life where you do get married. And I understood where my parents were coming from. Christopher understood where they were coming from, and his grandfather was alive at the time. He says, you know, you guys have to get married. And he was just so happy, though. My parents, so excited. Everyone was so excited. I remember just telling people. I didn't tell people until mid-October, and because I didn't want to jinx myself, and next thing you know, have a miscarriage or find out that something was wrong and be in a slum. You know, even though babies, at any rate, babies come in different sizes and different shapes, different colors, different specialties, but every baby is a blessing. But I wanted to make sure that we were having a healthy baby, and make sure that I got to the point where I knew the chances of the baby surviving were great. So, but anyway, that's how I found out I was pregnant. I thought I had some sort of a virus, and it turns out I was having a little phoenix. I was having my little girl. And even though we weren't married before we found out we were pregnant, I was still very happy. Christopher was very happy, so excited. And he couldn't wait to buy stuff for the baby. He wanted to find out what we were having. I said, nope, it doesn't matter what you have. A lot of people do find out what they're having, but a lot of people like it to be a surprise. And I loved having that surprise when she came out and my mom saying, it's a girl. So it was just all, there was so much love, there's so much support, and I believe that's how we made it. It was just so much support that we had. So anyway guys, that was how I found out we were pregnant, and I will come back to you again with another video soon. Bye.